Welcome back to the Toffee Blues, your source for all things Everton. I'm Ollie Hayes, and today I'm bringing you another rumour review. This time, the player in question is Leeds United's Wilfrid Gnonto. So yeah, yesterday, as I brought you the headline news from Mark Douglas, it said that after the completion of the transfer for Jesper Lindstrom, Everton would step up their interest in Wilfrid Gnonto from Leeds United. And today I'm just going to give you my thoughts on whether I think he'd be the right fit for Everton, whether I think it'd be a good transfer, and just sort of give you a basic evaluation of the player in question and hopefully give you a little bit of a better idea of what kind of player Wilfrid Gnonto is. But yeah, let's get straight into it. 20 years of age, entering his third season now in England after that breakout season with Leeds United a couple of seasons ago. He isn't really a similar type of player. He's not that similar profile of player than what we've currently got at the club. You look at the current wingers that we've got, like Jack Harrison, Dwight McNeil. Obviously, we've just signed Jesper Lindstrom from Napoli, so that's an exciting one to get get excited about for the new season. But Gnonto is not a player like that. He's a completely different profile of player. He's a small, nippy winger. Very direct in his running. He's lightning quick, as we've seen in his first season in the Premier League with Leeds a couple of seasons ago. He is lightning quick. He does possess that raw pace, which I think is crucial in today's game. If we look at his performance last season at Leeds, it took him a while to break back into that side. I think a lot of Evertonians will probably know why it took him a while to break back into that side. It was all the transfer sagas, should we call it, of last summer, all the goings on with him in Leeds and his decision to submit a transfer request and try and push through that move to Everton last season. That didn't materialise last summer, so he did have to work his way back into the squad and be reintegrated into Daniel Farke's plan at Leeds United. And once he'd done that, he seemed to hit the ground running quite well in the Championship. He seemed to hit the ground running quite well in a Leeds United shirt again. He made 39 appearances for the Yorkshire outfit last season in the Championship, and he registered 8 goals and 3 assists in that time. So again, that's a decent return, I think, for a winger, especially in the Championship. And you look at the caliber of player that Leeds had in that front line. You look at Joel Pirro, Crescencio Somerville, for example. They're 2 top players and 2 players that were tipped to do very well for Leeds United in the Championship and score a lot of goals. And that might have taken the shine off Gnonto a little bit and maybe taken his opportunities a little bit further away. But that being said, I think he did well in the Championship. He showed that he can break back into a team and knuckle down and showed that he does have the mindset to work back into a system and impress the manager and get the fans back on side. I think Leeds United fans are notoriously quite difficult to break. They're quite difficult to once you have gone behind them. I think I know quite a lot of Leeds fans personally, and they're very much with the players that left at the back end of last season when they did get relegated. You look at Brendan Aronson, players like that, even Jack Harrison, that they are very against those players, and they won't be looking to let them back into the good books at Leeds United. But Gnonto did it quite well. Obviously, he didn't leave, so it's a little bit different, but he did it well. He knuckled down and showed that he does have the mindset to get back into a team. So I think for me, that's definitely a positive. It shows that, yeah, okay, he was willing to force a transfer through to Everton last summer, but he showed that didn't materialize. He knuckled down, and he does show that he has the mindset to do that. So I think that's definitely a positive. I think he did redeem himself quite well in that sense. And as I said before, he does predominantly play as a winger. He can play behind the striker, but as we've seen in the last couple of weeks and through my thoughts through Jesper Lindstrom in the last couple of days, think we are quite saturated in that position now. So I do believe that if we do sign Gnonto alongside Jesper Lindstrom, Gnonto will be playing as a winger, which again I think is decent. I think he's a player that can comfortably do that job. He showed in his 2 seasons at Leeds so far that he can comfortably be deployed as a winger. So that's definitely a strong aspect for the squad for me, because as I said before, he can play behind that striker in that Iliman Ndiaye, Abdoulaye Doucouré, Jesper Lindstrom role, which they all seem to be comfortable in. But he can also play off the left, off the right, and he can even play as that number 9 as well. So I think he's a very versatile option that Sean Dyche is looking to add to the squad, and I think it's definitely a positive addition to the squad, considering how light we have been in squad depth in the last few seasons and how difficult it has been to bring bodies through the door due to our financial situation. So I think it's definitely positive that we're going for a player like him and a profile of player like him. But for me, I've been watching him for a few seasons, and his finishing does seem to be the strongest aspect of his game alongside that raw pace. And they're 2 aspects of a forward that you definitely want to have there. That's something that can't really be coached. It's kind of a natural instinct and the raw pace that comes with it. I think they're 2 natural abilities that you do need for the Premier League, and he definitely does possess that. No, he's a little bit hot-headed. He has shown signs of being a little bit hot-headed. I think he had a little bit of an altercation with Seamus Coleman in that relegation dogfight a couple of seasons ago, where he was face to face with Coleman after the final whistle went, and kind of mocking Coleman a little bit after that screamer that he scored at the Gladys Street end. But no, I'm sure they can put their differences behind them if Gnonto does sign for Everton and does it rock up in an Everton shirt. I'm sure they'll put their differences beside them there. But no, he is a he's a raw talent. He is a hothead a little bit, which again I think can be ironed out of his game. I think he's a player that he is a little bit rash sometimes in his decision making, but as I said before, that's something that can be coached and worked on. So I think it's a really positive thing. I think it's a really positive link. I'd be very happy if it personally if it came off. And the problem is now is just negotiation with Leeds. I think we saw last season how difficult they were in negotiations. They're a club that don't want to sell Nonso, of course, because he is a top player. He's one of their best players on his day. So you can see why that Leeds United don't want to sell him. But for me, I think if we stick at it and hopefully stick true to our negotiations, there's no reason why Kevin Thelwell and Sean Dyche can't get this one over the line. But his breakout for season in Leeds in a couple of seasons ago, it did show that he is a player worth fighting for. He is a player worth putting in difficult negotiations for. So for me, it's a no-brainer. He's also got a cap for Italy. So again, it shows that he does have a high ceiling. The Italian national team and the Italian national setup seem to rate him quite highly. So I think it is definitely for me a no-brainer because of the potential that Wilfrid Gnonto has. Obviously, he has that current ability, which we've seen for the last 2 seasons in England, but he also has that high ceiling. He has that potential. So I think for me, an absolute no-brainer. I'd be very happy to see Wilfrid Gnonto join. And for me, I think it's it shows that we're moving in the right direction in terms of recruitment. It shows finally that we seem to have a plan. We seem to have an alignment from top to bottom in the club and where we want to go with our squad. So I think it's all positive, and I'd really like to see him in an Everton shirt. But let's just see what happens the next few days with negotiations with Leeds. Obviously, we know they're notoriously not the easiest to negotiate with, but let's see. Fingers crossed we can get this one over the line, get a decent deal for both us and for Leeds United, and fingers crossed we'll see him in an Everton shirt very soon. But I want to know your thoughts as well. Let me know your thoughts on Wilfrid Gnonto in the comments. Are you happy to see him join? Are you sort of basing him joining on the condition that it's a decent deal? Would you be happy to see him regardless of the fee? Let me know, Blues. Let me know your thoughts on that and let me know in the comments. But that is all from me today for the Rumour review for Wilfrid Gnonto. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and I'll speak to you soon.